Good morning, good day, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to another video on my channel. Today, what I'm going through is a beginner's guide to tanking your first dungeon. It's not going to be a class-specific guide. I'm just going to go through a dungeon and explain you guys what you need to know if you tank your first dungeon. And some people may think it's scary. It's not that scary. I would not recommend, if it's your first ever character, to tank dungeons initially. Maybe DPS first, learn the layout a little bit. But after a few dungeons, you should be good to go. And even if you want to tank your first dungeon, just go for it, man. No one's going to stop you. A few important things before we set off. Make sure you go to your specializations tab and make sure you have a tank spec. Don't tank in any other specs, only in tank specs. And make sure you have it active. It will also see some preferred weapons. So this is one-handers and a shield. Make sure you have those weapons equipped. So I have a one-hander and a shield. Make sure you spent your talents. Whatever you choose here, it doesn't really matter. If you want to follow the starter build, you can go down here, click starter build. That's what Blizzard has done themselves. If you want to look up a build online, that's fine. If you just want to choose whatever you feel is the most fantastic, awesome, go for it. It really does not matter. You can play with anything you want in the lower levels. And you can have fun with everything you want. You can switch and swap it as much as you want. Lastly, and this is very important, make sure you have all your abilities on your bars and you understand what they do. I'm not going to go through every single ability, but there are a few ones that I will call out. First of all, obviously, I've got a group buff in Battle Shout, just buffs everyone, nice to have. I've got a charge, which can help me get into the fight quite quickly, and then I need you to find at least, two very key abilities. One of them is your taunt. It will have a different name, but it will say the same. It will taunt the target to attack you. Very important as a tank, you want mobs to attack you. So you will use your taunt quite frequently. And the second very important one for every tank is find an ability that hits multiple targets. Especially in low level, you might not have much choice yet, but find something that either does damage in an area or does damage to multiple targets. As a warrior, your first one's not ideal, but it is Whirlwind, and Whirlwind will say that it hit all nearby targets. The important thing is, you do damage to enemies, and you damaging them makes them attack you. So what you want to do initially is damage everything, so everything wants to hit you, and then after that we can go and do some other things. And apart from that, one thing maybe to call out is an interrupt. You may have something that will interrupt spellcasting. That's just a nice one to have, and you might know it from DPSing, but as a tank, it is always a good tool. You should also have an ability that increases your defense in some way. So as a warrior, I've got defensive stance, making me take reduced damage, and I also have shield block, which blocks all attacks against me. It's nice to know where that button is. You might not need it on low level dungeons. It's just nice to know, because if you take a lot of damage, you can just hit it and it will help you out quite tremendously. Everything else we'll go over, but let's jump into the dungeon. Go to the dungeon, bottom right here, group finder, and then you can look for a random dungeon or a specific. If you feel like you want to try a dungeon you can go to the specific tab and choose whichever dungeon you like. I know all of the dungeons already, so I will do a random dungeon, and then I will see you when my dungeon queue pops. There it is, my dungeon queue popped, and it seems like we have the mother load. Now, I know the dungeons, but you may not. So the first thing I'm going to do when I come in here is I'm just going to open the map real quick and have a little look at the layout of this dungeon. I'll just press on the map, and then I'll see, so I go straight, we then go left, and we kind of go straight, and then right, and then, so it's a big loop, and we start off going left. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to give my buff. And I'll just pop in a chat. No, actually I don't pop anything into the chat. But if you're first time here, you can just go into the chat and say, hey, this is my first time. Please be patient with me. Most people are okay with that. So you see that what I've done is I'm a warrior, I've charged in. And the first thing you want to do when you hit that pack is try and do your AoE ability. So my Whirlwind will cost a little bit of rage. So sometimes I'll have to wait, sometimes I'll have to use something that gives me rage. You're probably familiar with what abilities give you rage from your leveling process. But what I will do is I will try to go into the dungeon, go into a group of mobs, and do my AoE ability first. So here we go, there's a Whirlwind, and you see that both mobs are attacking me. How you can see that mobs are attacking you is, you see now this one's not attacking me, the one with yellow. If they have a yellow border around their unit frame, if you're using standard WoW frames, it means that they're not attacking you. If they're red, then they're fine, they're fully attacking you, so you are good as a tank. At least that's how it looks as a tank. I believe if you're playing DPS, it will be the other way around, where if they're red, it's fine. Basically, yellow means it's not fine. We see that my group pulled a few mobs on the side here. That's not a problem. I just went over and hit them with my abilities. I didn't do anything in particular. I used Devastate. Use any ability you have, just move over to them. If it's not hitting you, go and hit it. If you're far away, you can use your taunts, or I can use Heroic Throw, which throws a blade at them. But if you're far away or close by, the most important part is that you hit them. There we go. And we remember, we said go left, so we are gonna go left. And here I'm gonna pull this back, and this guy's gonna run in. So I see that he ran in and I didn't hit him with my big AoE, so the first thing I'm gonna do when he gets in here is I'm going to hit him. I see that I lost some aggro, so I use my AoE ability again and hit everything. And all of them are back at attacking me. It really doesn't take much as a tank to get the aggro of the mobs. The aggro or threats, as they call it in World of Warcraft, is the more aggro you have, the more likely they are to attack you. If you have the most aggro or threat on a mob, then that mob will attack you. And it's really easy to generate that as a tank. We'll go in here, again, use my AoE ability. This one's not attacking me, so I'll drop an attack into him, and now he's attacking me again. Now this next pack is quite big, so I'm going to charge in, do my AoE, and I'm actually going to pop my shield block here. Just a little bit of a defensive to make me take less, to make me do less damage. Or make me take less damage, sorry. And this guy puts up a shield, which makes him immune from the front, so we'll go stand behind him. And that makes us arrive at our first boss, which is the Crowd Pummeler. On bosses, again, nothing to worry. Usually they're alone, so you just charge in and hit them with your single target abilities. I see that I'm taking some damage, so I'm going to pop a shield block. And I'm going to pop another defensive I have, which is Ignore Pain, which reduces my damage taken by half until my shield breaks. Now you see mechanics. The nice thing as a tank is usually you don't have to deal with mechanics. So I'm just going to let this football player here shoot the footballs into the boss, and then the boss takes more damage. Again, I see I'm getting a little bit more low, taking a bit of damage, so I'm going to use my defensives here. Later on as a tank, you will know when bosses are going to do more damage. At those points you will use your defensive to prevent you from taking a lot of damage. If you don't know the dungeons or if you're new to the game, you won't know that. So just try and look at your HP a little bit. If you're getting low, if you take a lot of damage, just try to use something. And that is the first boss down. And with that we can move on. Again, you can look at your map. We're going this way, but we're going a bit to the right here. So we will go, and I'm just gonna stick to the right, because I know we're gonna go to the right eventually. I'm just gonna stick to the right. I'm gonna take it slow, one pack at a time. Someone in my group said, "You're being too slow, tank," so he pulled more. And not a problem, this will happen, but what I try to do is I see it as a challenge, right? They want to pull more, they're maybe a bit bored, they think it's not enough, they want to pull more, okay. In any dungeon, even in late game, even in an organized group, something may go wrong, this may happen, and it will happen. And at those points you need to be able to react as a tank as well. So just think, oh, he pulled more, there are more mobs, what do you do if they're not attacking you? You're going over to hit them. So here again, we pulled some more. We have a lot of mobs, we see my HP going down a bit. These are not hitting me, so I'm gonna go over here and I'm going to hit them until they hit me. And there we go, no casualties, everything's fine. I will keep an eye a bit on my group because I feel like they do tend to pull a lot of mobs that I'm trying to skip. You can always pull whatever you want to pull. If you can skip some mobs, you can skip some mobs. It really does not matter too much. You just do you. Again. So see this guy in the back here, he ran past some mobs and he actually pulled some more enemies in. So always try and look back at your team. There's two advantages to that. One of them is, as a tank, you generally want to face the enemies away from your group. Why is that? Some enemies do an ability that hits everything in front, so you want to make sure that you as the tank are the only one hit by it. So what I'll do is I'll phase them away. The second advantage is that you can look at your group and see what they're doing. So in this case I was looking away, I was facing them away, and I saw that he had some friends, he brought some friends. So immediately I could react to that and charge in. Charge in here, use my AoE to get them all to attack me and face them away to the side. And I'm gonna keep an eye on my group. This one's not attacking me, so I'm gonna throw a taunt at him. And in these low level dungeons, don't worry if you're not instant fast with your taunts. They're not gonna one-shot people, they don't do too much damage. You just want to make sure you get it eventually and try and learn on how to get it. Here again. And now we make it to the next boss. But this boss has a bunch of ants, so what I'm gonna do is actually I'm gonna charge one of the far away ones, hit him, and then go into the middle. Now these are not tankable, so they will go after other people, which is unfortunate for the group, but you know, they'll have to deal with it themselves. And this boss is a good example of why you face it away, because soon he will do something. Maybe. If he does it in this difficulty, I don't know. Maybe he doesn't. No. On harder difficulties he actually does a big attack in front of him that obviously you don't want to hit your teammates with. And we just keep going. We're gonna throw some executes out here, and that is the second boss down. Now I can physically see the next boss over there. So I'm just gonna try and go in a straight path to him. Now this area is very fun, and you'll see why. Because there's a lot of enemies everywhere, and there's a lot of enemies that get pulled when you try and do something. So I'll be on the lookout, see what my team does. So you got one coming in here, I'm going to throw an attack on him. And you see that these blowtorches are hitting in front of them. If I move, you'll see they'll follow me. So I'm trying to phase them away from my group so they don't take any damage. Been silenced, which is not a problem because I am a tank. And I don't have any abilities that require me to cast, so... Or I don't have any spells, I should say.
I require a target.
There we go. We're just gonna sneak through here. And we're just gonna pull this one because he's in my way, and we have these rats. So AoE ability, I've got them all on me. This is the stronger mob. And we've got some in the back as well, so I will go here. Remember what I said, if they're not hitting you, go hit them. There we go. And now most of them are hitting me. This one's not, but it is dead now, so it doesn't matter anymore. See, if some of them are rampant, nobody died, everyone is still alive and everything's all good. Now I will go to the right here, charge in, do my AoE. Maybe I'll put my Ignore Pain up as a bit of a shield. A frontal, but someone went and stood behind me, the Demon Hunter. In those cases, there's not much you can do. You can keep an eye on them and see, oh, he's not over here anymore, or he's not over there, so I will move to the side, for example. Everyone's with me, we don't have any extra friends. No. So we will go into the next pack, and again, I will face them away because we have these blowtorches. You can also see, so everything with an orange little cast bar or a green one, you are able to interrupt. And that's why I have Pummel, which is a interrupt spell casting. I can use that to actually stop their abilities from happening. So I will try and do that as well as frequently as possible, because interrupting a spell just means that it doesn't do any damage, which is, as a tank, also very, very important, because it will reduce your damage taken. We've got a second boss here. And again, I will face her away. Just a bit of a habit. As a tank, always try to face them away. Now she drops a pool of sludge, and people don't want to stand in sludge. So whenever you see something on the floor that people can't stand in, don't only think about, oh, if I stand out of it, it's fine. Also think about, well, I've got these melee DPS that also have to stand somewhere. So I gave them a bit more room. Instead of standing right next to it, I moved quite far away so they have some room to stand as well. Allowing them to do more DPS, kill the boss faster, equals you take less damage because the fight does not last as long. The boss is dead. Let's wait up for the group. The group's all here, so we will go into the next pack. And again, as usual, we pull it back, we hit our AoE ability, and we've got aggro on everything. This is a cast I can interrupt, so I will use my Pummel on it. And there we go. This one spawns mines. These mines will target someone. You can't tank them, unfortunately, and they will blow up if you stand on them. So a good thing to do is just to... Oh, someone wants to kick someone. I'm not really sure what's going on. Are we missing a player?
I do not have a target.
I don't think we are. No. I think he was just standing still for a moment. I think that photo kick was a bit, maybe a bit early. But here we go. We need to get to the top of this hill, because if you see, the boss is up there. So we will make it. We'll hug right here. You can go straight to the middle, you can hug right, you can do whatever you want. You're the tank, so you pull and the DPS hit it. We go, another 2 mobs here really quickly. This one will blow up on me, but that's fine because I'm the tank. And we have another mob coming in. Although we didn't pull it, surprisingly, so that's quite good.
I need to target something first.
And now I'm gonna activate this mine by standing close. Just going to kill it.
I am out of
And then we can go in here, go in, hit my AoE ability, and face them away. Same thing every pack. Oh, there's a swirly on the floor, so I'm gonna throw, and well, in this case I stood in it. I was saying I'm gonna go slowly stand out of it.
Get closer.
There we go, and we're at the final boss now. And what am I gonna do with this final boss? I'm gonna charge in,
Too far away.
I'm gonna hit it, and I'm gonna face it away. And then I'm gonna stand still. See this big circle on the floor, so I'm gonna move out of that a little bit. Oh, he's moving it back in. That's fine. As a tank you can take anything anyway, so. And his Gatling gun will do a frontal, so we will not be in front of him. He's flying up, and now 2 ads are spawning, so you see that they're here. I will hit him, and I will taunt the other one. Now they're both attacking me. We'll do some AoE, multiple target damage.
I am out of range.
These also just fly around and hit random people, so there's not too much you can do. And on this fight, if you get an arrow on your head, you should move to one of these barrels. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna move to the barrel. Really, these are fight mechanics, not tank mechanics in the end. This is Demon Hunters clearly new. So, as I said, there's other new people. You don't have to worry about you being the new guy messing up mechanics. People do it all the time. There's a lot of new people that don't know these dungeons, so... And then we just finish him off here with some executes, little guy jumps out. And that's that. That is your first dungeon tanked on a low level account. So if you want to play a tank, don't be afraid, just go in, hit your AoE ability, and if something's not hitting you, go and hit it. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.